Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com with match number 1 with our Zendikar draft. This seems like an okay hand. We have all of our mana sources, we have an Eyeless Watcher, we have a Void Winnower, which you never know how badly this can screw up our opponent's game plan. We do want to draw into like a Herald of Kozilek. Any way to ramp into that would be great. So I think that we can just start off with a tap land. The Looming Spires is fine. And pass turn. Having 2 tap lands around, maybe the Skyline Cascade. It's just the Skyline usually has a little bit better of a ability on it than the Looming Spires. Still kicking myself for not going for landfall. Uh-oh. Can't deal with that 1-drop for quite a while. Could be going against an allies deck. We didn't see any, like, white was heavily picked in our draft pod. So was black. Here we can just go another. I didn't like to see a land, of course. We'll just throw in a forest. Going to be taking some damage before we can deal with the lookout. We do have answers. We have a few answers to early cards, but I mean, this is kind of our worst nightmare, having a 1 or 2 drop, because we do have a lot of ways to counter in our deck. But it's going to take him quite a while with the 1 drop to dish out a significant amount of damage. I'm hoping that our later game can come through. And I'm really hoping he just passes the turn without playing anything. But if it's like a 2, yeah, a Snapping Gnarlid can be very rough for us to deal with. Another land. Welp. We have all our lands basically to cast the Void Winnower. We can just survive to that point. Will be great. So the Gnarlid's going to get in for 3. We're going to at least take 4 here. Need to find like a Radiant Purge off the top. And we're down to a 15. And let's hope here he doesn't cast another card. And he does. It's a leopard. Oh, Radiant Purge, where are you? Well, we needed that last turn to counter one of these guys, but we can throw out the Eyeless Watcher. Man, did not want to see an aggro deck. I think we might need to bring in like Blister Pod next game just to give us some early. Herald of Kozilek is also really good against this deck because it can block everything just fine. So 4 cards still in hand. He's got landfall on both of his creatures. Looks like he is just a white-green aggro deck. He can give all his creatures +1/+1 as well with the Cliffside Lookout, which I think is what he wants to do. But I'm going to definitely block the Cliffside Lookout and probably the Snapping Gnarlid. Or just maybe the Cliffside Lookout. Hopefully, is he just going to main phase? Alright, so he's getting a Natural Connection, so he gets another landfall trigger. But I think I need my Eldrazi Spawn to try to ramp into. Alright, so let's block the 4/4. And take 5, go down to 10. Retreat into Corehelm is pretty weak. I think we just play it, or do we want to counter a spell? 5, 6, 7. Yeah, at least scry here? Maybe that's not the right play, but at least we can try to set up. I mean, we're probably dead next turn. We have to definitely block with these Eldrazi Scions. And enters battle target creature opponent card is not untapped, so that's fine. We can at least tap down his snapping. And we don't want the Lumbering Falls at this point. It is a 3/3 blocker, but it comes into play tapped. And I think that's... This is going to be rough. Like, of course we don't want him to hit a land drop. He can pump up his creatures, though, through the Cliffside Lookout. And he gets a land anyway. So the Leopard is going to be a 2/2. He's got plenty of mana for the Lookout. And I think I have to block with multiples. Block here, that'll force off the pump with the Cliffside Lookout. And we can still draw a Radiant Purge off the top. That's not a horrible draw. It's a 3/3. Unfortunately, it might just not, yeah, because this, what it'll do, 3 for 5. Yeah, I think we just die from however we block next turn. And what does this do? It says tap or untap a creature, so I think we'd scry. And Spell Shrivel can go on the bottom. And yeah, if he just attacks in right next turn, we lose. So we'll bring in the Damping, the card that makes all his creatures -1, -0. That's going to be very powerful versus him. I think I'll bring in the Blister Pod. I still don't think the Blister Pod is impactful enough, even in this type of deck. And Void Winter will just probably get cut. I'd rather that just a card I can play, not get stuck in my hand. Spell Shrivels are also very weird versus an aggro deck. Kind of wish we could have got that other Boiling. Or some more removal. Yeah, he just attacks with everything and I block the... And he pumps. And then I take 3 for 5, 6, 7 exactly. Really? So instead of winning the game, he decides to let me have another go, which I could find a Radiant here. No, just another one. I don't think there's a way around this. All right, we'll concede. He's got us this one. See where our Radiant Purge was. We'll bring in the Rush of Ice. Doesn't seem terrible. I think it's just better than... Well, we'll take out the Void Winnower for sure. It's just too hard to cast. I think we'll keep in Omnath. It's 7. And... yeah, still plenty of... The Salvage Drones are okay to bring in. We could bring in these ways to deal with him early. But I'm still thinking just Damping Pulse is fine. Maybe we do take out all the Spell Shrivels. He does have a lot of those higher cast cards I do want to counter, though. Yeah, I don't think that we change up too much. Spell Shrivels could come out for Salvage Drones just to give us early blockers. And when they die, we can discard and draw a card to get us to what we need. And also the Blister Pod. But the problem is, like, a lot of times you won't have that one drop. Like, comes to play tapped. We can't play it one drop. Comes to play tapped, comes to play tapped. So it's just basically banking on the forest and islands, and I don't think that's quite worth it for the salvage drones. The Invoker's a 2/3. I just might actually just bring in the Invoker for a decent blocker and take out a Spell Shrivel. Definitely think that's an okay trade. Because these did seem to get just stuck. And we'll submit this. I still think, yeah, Incubator drones are still fine too. Everything is still great. Alright, yes, we'd like to play first. Omnoth, Evolving Wilds. This is another very slow hand. But we have everything. I think we keep it. And once again, we just start off with the comes to play tap land. Because I'm not quite sure what we want to do with the Evolving Wilds yet. Don't put out a 1-drop. Ugh. Alright, the aggro is going to get us. This is not a good matchup with the aggro. We need to find one of our anti-aggro cards. So now we do want to get a green source. For the natural connection. And we can, the cool thing about natural connections is an instant speed, so we can keep up Spell Shrivel. So note to self, aggro is definitely a real thing in the draft. In sealed, it didn't seem to be quite the problem. I mean, there is a lot of cards, like more of the boiling sands or whatever the card's called that I have in my deck could just kind of take care of this early aggression with the 1-drops. So we go get a forest here. And that's a great card. We'll get the Grove Rumble out a lot earlier, which will help us. And I can counter whatever he puts out this turn, which we will do. If he doesn't play anything, we will natural connection. So 3-drop ends up being a rally that gets vigilant. Sure, we'll counter it. I guess that's a way for us to ingest something as a Spell Shrivel. So he's just getting in for 1. We'll have a Grove Rumbler next turn, which I think will be pretty brutal. He doesn't even attack. So he misses attack phase. And red, green, green. This doesn't matter here. We'll throw out the Grove Rumbler. Which hopefully doesn't have an answer for. Omnoth's not too far away. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So 1 more. And if we draw into a blue source, then yeah, we actually will go get a blue source with the natural connection. And no attack here. No. There's the blue source. All right, we are in great shape. And he's taking 5. We could actually do 7 here, but that's not the right play. The right play is just to slap out the Wind Rider, which is a 4/3 that scries 2. And have an Omnomnomnoth in our hand. Which I don't... There's not many decks that can come back from this guy. Every time we get a land, it puts an elemental creature into play. This guy's an elemental, so when it dies, it can do 5 damage, or 3 damage to a creature player as well. So 5 mana for a rally. All creatures get +2/+2. Okay, so he isn't like an ally deck. He can get in for 3 here with his Lookout. And I'll make that. That's fine. So, yeah, we'll forest here. And attack in. Don't think he can kill me off in one turn. I'm at a healthy 16. He's at 9. I'm actually in a natural connection here, too. And we will grab... We have mountain forest. Triple mountain. We can get the other forest. I don't know if it matters at this point. There's a forest in our hand, though. So we get an island. And he goes down to an 11. We get a scry 2. Which we can bottom. And at this point, Eyeless Watcher's fine. But on top. And he has one turn to kill us. Which I don't see happening. Unless he's got a bazillion allies. Could happen. He could cast 3 allies, get +6/+6, and swing in. That's still only 6 + 6 is 7 and 8 respectively. That's 14. I don't see him casting more than 3 allies. And he just passes the turn, huh? Well, we will cast Mr. Omnoth, and that way if the Rumbler dies. Lots of 2/1s. Maybe this deck does want like early 1-drops that die. Over just the counter the spell. Spell Shrivel actually works out pretty well, though, if we can establish a board presence. So we get a 5/5 and +2/+2. And that leads to a concession. Okay, so are retreats any good? Retreat Aquarium just helps me scry. I still think like salvage drones possibly need to just come in because he has a lot of 1/1s that we can block. All of these seem really good just to bring in. And still like the Invoker though. The Predator Landfall's fine. The Snapping Gnarl is great. The Seek the Wilds are great. I still want the Herald Cosmos. The Spell Shrivel, I'm going to go down to a 2 of Spell Shrivel. And what else is just weak against his deck? Maybe just a 1 of Spell Shrivel, just because like when he killed us, it was because of early aggression. Now I don't want to get stuck with like salvage drones in the mix and not be able, and want to counter something, but I think that's okay. Yeah, we need some earlier ways to stabilize. I think I'd want another green source though, or blue source. How many? No, we need to find... Yeah, green. I think another green source is what we want to add here. Just to try to guarantee that these early green sources to come out. But now, yeah, it's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to second guess myself here. It's more important than a Boiling Earth or Radiant Flame, so we'll submit this. So we just need to stop the early aggression. If we get either one of our board wipes, it's just brutal. And once again, we don't have that, but this is okay. We have a salvage drone, which I'll first turn Skyline Cascade just so we can get that salvage drone out. We have an incubator drone, which is pretty decent too. I'll keep this. If he actually puts out a 1-drop, we can tap it down with the Cascade. Or if we draw into something better, we can still. All right. See if a Gnarled Scarhide comes out. Nothing. All right, this is perfect. Now I'm actually wishing I had the counter magic instead of just a 1-drop. There's our Om Nom Nom Noth. We'll go ahead and Salvage Drone and put out a nice little forest. We have an extra forest we can get rid of if we want. We do want that Omnoth out as quick as possible. We have all of our colors. We need one more, yeah, just one more red source. That's the one that gives them vigilance. Okay. We have a Seek the Wilds, which is sorcery speed. I think I'd rather just go natural connection, though. So we'll go ahead and pass the turn. Seek will be good to find our other blue source if we want to go that route. I don't think I quite block with my Salvage Drone. I think there's better things to do. Serene Steward. They will get Vigilance. Hoping he's missing a land drop and can't progress his board. We'll go ahead and take the 2. And go get that other red source. All right, we're good on red. Red, blue. We have a Herald of Kozilek, which also allows us to go Seek the Wilds. Not quite. Yeah, I think that's better. So we'll put out a Herald. And a Seek the Wilds is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually do probably 6, 7. This would guarantee. No, I think that we just grabbed another Herald of Kozilek. And we're in pretty decent shape now. Salvage Drone could actually discard it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll have an Incubator Drone out next. No, just all we have to do is just get the Omnoth out and just sit tight. And he has been missing his land drop, so that's great for us. We can get the Incubator Drone out for cheap next turn. Keep the Kozilek in our hand. Drawn to a blue source, we can cast Kozilek and an Incubator Drone quite easily. Too bad this isn't a color spell. Void Winter would still be quite a ways to come out, but we could actually get the 8-drop out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, not quite. But it's looking really good for us here. So an enchantment. Whenever a land enters battlefield, he gets to put a +1/+1 counter on something. And or gain 2 life. I'm pretty sure he's going to put a +1/+1 counter on his 3/4 Makinda Patrol. But yeah, he can't attack into it. Perfect. Grave Rumbler is beautiful. And if we just keep a blue, yeah, we can actually cast another. Yep, we can cast another Kozilek, and a Grave Rumbler. If that's the way we want to do this. I think it is. So clogging up that board really well. Okay, now I'm wishing the Salvage Drone was actually a counterspell instead. We'd have a better line of play. So he's getting those lands. He's going to have a buff McKindy Patrol. I'll double block if he gives me that option. Or just maybe just block the Salvage Drone. We have blockers with the Incubator Drones as well. And he decides to pass. Okay. There's a Spell Shrivel. That's actually beautiful, and we can cast... I just think we cast the Incubator Drone, though. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next turn we can cast an Omnath. And if we draw a land, we can actually get some value out of it. You have to worry about, he does have some creature removal in his deck. It's a really good retreat in limited. Salvage Drone still is the card that I think is the best to throw under the bus. Evolving Wilds would be beautiful if I can draw into them for the Omnath. Target creature fights target creature. Okay. That happens. And I can't Spell Shrivel. It does kill off my... He's going to regret that, though, once Omnath comes out. He needs a way to remove it. So I actually would like to draw a land. I think we just play the Invoker here and keep up. Rather than just get Omnath out, we'd play the Invoker. And then keep up the Spell Shrivel. Invoker with 6 mana on the board right now. 2 more mana, it just starts shooting down everything. Retreat is going to get out of hand. We do need to counter the 2/1 elf ally that gives everything +2/+2 when he casts it, because he could swing it for lethal quite easily. And a retreat, this one we do need to counter. And I only need to pay 1. Because they get +1/+1, or he gets a bunch of little creatures. Alright, so there's a mountain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We want to get someone to sacrifice this and throw out Omnath. And then we're going to get some value out of it right now. And then pass the turn. So we actually do want to draw into another land because the Valakut Invoker will win us this game. But 2/5/5 Elementals is pretty brutal. He's just passing the turn? Evolving Wilds. Oh, that's not bad. Ascanic Cascade's great. And I'm not going to attack into anything. We are definitely in the driver's seat, I'd think. And he just passes. I don't think he loses this game. I don't know what's in his hand. We get another island, though, which puts the Valakut Invoker online, which then does make it a lot harder for him to deal with. I think Valakut Invoker wants to be on our main board. So we'll go on to match number 2. This has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.